proving that women twins can act just as bad as the Barbarian brothers. I'm Justin.
What's happening? What is that thing in the air? What, another thing in the air? I'm Jackie.
You know what? I think we're just going to skip this prophecy and then get it back on the next one. I'm Sam, and this is Sorceress on Stinker Madness.
What's that smell?
I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty as fuck. Thirsty as fuck.
Hey, look at me!
Thrill me.
If you come back in here, I'm gonna hit you with so many rights, you're gonna beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Hey, look at me!
It stinks.
Stinker Madness.
Hello, welcome to the show called Stinker Madness, where a guy named me talks to a guy named Sam and a wife named Jackie. This week on the show from 1987, the movie Sorceress.
82.
What?
82.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
He is our fact guy.
Okay. 1982, called Sorceress, starring a couple twins, and produced by Roger Corman and written by Jim Wynorski, but not directed by Jim Wynorski.
It wasn't actually written by Jim Wynorski at all.
Okay, well then let's find out what's all that's all about, Sam. So why don't you take over?
Jack Hill came back to Corman after seeing Conan, going, well, we've got an opportunity here to make a big movie with not that much money. And Corman's like, sure, let's do it. It'll be a great thing. We'll make another Conan. And this is right at the time that the drive-in is in its death throes.
Okay.
So Corman's more worried about money than usual. Jack Hill thinks that this is going to be his springboard back into mainstream pictures, as he calls it. Whereas I would raise the question, is The Big Birdcage and Coffee mainstream pictures? Because those are his two best movies.
Right.
They're going to shoot it in the Philippines, which would probably reunite him with Ciro H. Santiago, who produced The Big Birdcage while Jack Hill directed it.
Mm-hmm.
However, all of a sudden Corman gets a better deal in Portugal.
Okay.
It's like, no, we're going to shoot the picture in Portugal. Plus, Ciro's got his own machine going. We don't want to screw with that.
Right.
And then it's like, Portugal's no good. They don't have anything there. We're going to shoot it in Italy. And then Jack Hill's like, oh, Italy, that's interesting. It seems like an expensive place to shoot for you, but
right.
Whatever. Then 2 weeks before they start shooting, it's like, by the way, we moved the picture to Mexico. And there, according to Jack Hill, was no shortage of really shady deals to set up the Sword and Sandal studio in Mexico, because a bunch of other stuff got shot down there after this.
Yeah.
Deathstalker 2 with Wynorski, they went to different places in South America as well, but for the most part, they were base camping in this studio that was set up right around this time with the help of the government and some drug dealers and whoever else was going to take money.
Right. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. This whole time, Jack Hill is thinking this is his comeback picture. It's going to be just like Conan. Instead, he gets moved to Mexico, and then none of the budget that he was promised was given to him. He's like, no, you got to do it for $500K.
Wow.
That's just do it for $500K. Meanwhile, the picture that he's trying to emulate, Conan, which was, of course, done by De Laurentiis, Corman's in bed with De Laurentiis at this point, and just oddly enough, as sort of a weird connection, they're producing Dune at around this time, and Lynch and De Laurentiis steal some of the lights. Steal a whole lighting rig van from him, so...
From Corman?
Not only does he not get... Yeah, from Jack Hill's production specifically.
Oh, shit. You don't need that. Shut up, Jack Hill. Give us your stuff.
Shut up.
It's like his
Shut
lunch
up.
money.
Oh, and with Dino, it was probably in the middle of the night, and he just like kind of snickers later, like, "Oh, you stealing my picture? I steal your lights." So it seems to me like, oh, Jack Hill's been done. You'd want to think that, right? But he does take credit for writing the script entirely himself.
Okay.
And that's where I think that no matter what Corman did to him, no matter how this thing got shipped around, the story's ludicrous. And
yes.
it's like sometimes 3 ingredients make a banana split and sometimes they make a banana shit.
Mm-hmm.
And mixing Conan with the Corsican brothers and the Playboy twins was never going to work.
No, probably not.
It wouldn't have mattered how much money they threw at him. Sure, the coup de grace at the end might have been a little different, but the movie would have sucked no matter what.
So
Those chicks were in Playboy?
Yes,
Well.
the Harris twins are from Playboy. They would later get arrested for tax evasion after sugaring a guy. He ended up giving them like $1 million each in gifts and other real estate things and shit like that. And then when he died, they were like, he only claimed $50,000 on his taxes. And so they had it in, whatever circuit of the state Supreme Court overturned. But at one point they got nailed for sugar daddy tax evasion, not very long after this film was made.
Oh my god.
Like 85, 87, something like that.
Jeez Louise. So I'm what's the deal then with Wynorski? If Jack Hill wrote this, is Corman just like, no, we don't want to give you too much credit, so Jim just wakes up one day and is like, what? I wrote a movie? Huh?
So at one point, because of the great production space that they've set up in Mexico, the vault that they're using to store the film mysteriously explodes.
Oh boy.
Taking some of the footage with it.
Yeah, little Tiger King action.
Yeah. There's a number of other real struggles, and that Jack Hill and Corman have such a long history, and at this point Jack Hill's like, this was sort of a partnership deal, and you're just, treating me like one of your other stooges, and I'm just doing a movie for you here. When he starts to see the special effects dailies, he says, take my name off of it. So it's directed by Brian something, which is Corman's 2 first sons. He took their 2 first names and made the director's name.
Okay.
And apparently Jim was standing there or something, so he was like, you just wrote a picture, Jim.
Hey.
Now fuck off for a
Cool.
minute. Again, with all of your fucking ideas anyway. So that's why Wynorski's name, even though it seems like there's a few lines I could pin here on Wynorski.
Yeah, right.
According to Jack Hill, he had nothing to do with writing it.
Huh, interesting. It does have
However,
yes.
he could have written up, because there's a bunch of VO, and that's one of the other things that happens that Jack Hill was completely infuriated with, is that when they shipped it back up to Venice, the Corman team just started doing the voices with office people.
Janet, get over here.
Yeah, recutting it and rewriting it. And so Jim probably did doctor the version of the film that we saw was the Jim Wynorski doctored version, and so he got writer credit.
The doctor cut. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. What else you got?
So the guy, the barbarian, Elric,
Okay.
you recognize him, right?
Only, and if you say the Island of the Blue Lagoon, I'm gonna be like, what? Because that's the
Well, I
only
think that's what they were going for
Okay.
with his fake hair.
right.
That's Roberto Nelson.
Okay, who is
Credited as Bob Nelson. He's nobody.
okay?
Interestingly enough, in conversation, someone was asking me about this movie, because it was sort of a deal. And it wanted to be a deal, and then it was a deal anyway. They're like, well, who's in that? I'm like, there's virtually nobody that made it out of this movie with their career intact.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody.
Right.
Except for the Mexican cast, which is all these guys that, like, the main bad guy, Roberto Ballesteros.
Wow.
He's like El General, and he's that guy. He's like 199 credits in villainy Mexican soap operas.
Oh boy.
Mm.
Yeah.
He made a good villain, though.
No, he didn't. He was terrible.
You don't know how anybody's doing because Bob at the office did their voice in
That's
ADR.
That's
like
true.
none of them got their own voices.
Yeah.
Nobody. Because Bruno Ray's pretty good. I didn't even recognize that it was Bruno Ray as whatever. What is his name? Balder. Yeah.
Balder.
Yeah, Balder shows up, and I'm like, who is this guy?
He forgot to bring his gate.
Yeah. And then I find out later, it's like, that's Bruno Ray? They did a good job making him up, and I couldn't tell
Bruno
it was
Ray?
him. He's just a Mexican actor that's been around.
Okay.
He's been in a bunch of stuff.
All right.
A bunch of B movies. A bunch of other stuff, too. But
So was he the Billy Goat?
No, he was Balder.
No.
The shitty Gimli.
The shitty Gimli.
Oh, okay. Got
And
it.
the Pando was child actor David Milburn, who was very famous for he was the kid in a couple of the really popular McDonald's commercials.
Oh boy. Wow.
Yeah, and he's kicked around. He's done some things, but he was a child actor, and he was brought in as Pando because one of the first this shit's going downhill with Jack Hill and Corman was that Pando was supposed to be Sid Haig.
Okay.
And he's like, no, I'm not paying for Sid Haig.
No.
I'm not paying for anything.
To slap a bunch of
Fuck off.
hair and
What-
shit on him.
What kind of picture do you think this is going to be when I just shipped you off to a place that I just bought from drug dealers? Like, where do you think the ceiling for this picture is?
I'm still
The whole
just
time-
hoping one day, Roger, you turn into a good person, and it's just not happening.
Yeah, it's you love Roger Corman, but there is the other side of things that the business end is always the business end. You don't want to be on the business end of Roger Corman.
No.
But yeah, at this point, Jack Hill thinks he's going to get to make a big picture, and Corman's just setting up a studio in Mexico, and he's using Hill because he trusts him to do the first picture out of it. But the budget is being spent on the setup of the studio, not this picture.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a misunderstanding there.
Right.
Although there was a misunderstanding there, after Jack Hill decides to remove his name from the picture, which wasn't a good idea because it cost $500,000 and made $4 million in the theaters,
Nice.
and basically funds the Corman sword and sandal business that went on for years and years. And then Jack Hill never works again.
Oh, no. So this was his last movie?
Take My Name Off the Picture was never working again.
Damn it. That sucks, man. Jack Hill was a big deal.
Yeah.
All right.
He's still alive and he hasn't worked not once since this picture.
Oh,
hanging
that's,
out
good. That's sad.
Hanging out in Malibu. Watching the soaps.
Bitching about this production
Yeah.
mostly.
Yep. You get, you go over to old Crazy Jack up the street's house. He'll just bitch about Roger Corman. You get him a couple bits of whiskey and he'll tell you everything old Roger Corman done to fuck everybody up. But stay off the grass.
He's sitting on his very cushy lawn chair next to his hot tub at his Malibu penthouse that was all paid for by his career with Roger Corman.
Right.
Like, that son of a bitch.
I hate
Also,
that
I love my
fucker.
house.
All right, let's get into Sorceress. Oh, actually, let's not. Jackie, this is the first time you'd seen Sorceress, right?
Correct.
Okay. Let's just go with what you want to probably talk most about, the satyr. Pando. Mr. Tumnus.
Oh my god. When that thing showed up, I was like, what the fuck is that? And then you realize that it is a satyr. But it's just a man with gorilla pants on and, like his chest, like they've given him like a booby chest
Uh-huh.
with, they've shaped him into some nice subtle boobs for his chest
Where his
hair.
hair stops, yeah.
Yeah, and then his face just looks like a burn victim
Oh, no.
that somebody blew pubes on. And then he's just like, meh. And then-
that's his entire line in
Yeah.
the script.
And, so way to go, McDonald's guy. I mean, I guess Bob from accounting did a pretty good job with your satyr voice. But then in the first shot that you see him, you could see this little tiny wiener on him.
Right.
But then that goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that is the most puzzling thing to me about this movie, where Jack Hill thinks this is going to be a big deal and it's going to be like Conan, because the sexual undertones in this film are not a little weird or a little perverse. They're like, perverts think that this is weird shit.
Yeah, it's pushing the envelope quite a bit. I don't think I would want any children watching this film. Not my children. They're not allowed to watch this because there's a fine line, and I don't know which side this movie lands on, but it's past it, I think.
Yeah, no, the problem with showing your kids this movie, even if they're like adult children, is they're like, if they're not experienced with the internet and things like that, they're going to have to talk to you about it. Like,
right.
Do they have sex like this? And you're like, you know what? Just go to 4chan, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
This
The
was
world
a bad choice.
the world is a bad place, and you found out about it. And that was your gateway, was this fucking movie that Jack Hill thought was going to be amazing, where it's like, they're talking about Pando's wiener, there's polygamy, all sorts of other weird shit, and you're like, no, it's not going to be mainstream. Come on,
man. All right. So, starts out in the same way that all Swords and Sandals movies start out, by some guys who can't see shit riding into a village.
No, they're just chasing a caravan.
Well, they're going to a village.
No,
is
they're
it
just
caravan?
chasing. Yeah, they're just chasing after this caravan with this lady in a red robe.
Okay, because it just seemed like they were.
And a
these
wet
people
nurse.
are like camped out, like it's a camp circle, like a bunch of fucking hippies in the forest or something.
No, they're runaways
Okay.
They've
From
escaped.
from
They've
the
escaped
sorcerer.
from El General, who is the sorcerer,
Tragan.
and Tragan. Yes, they've escaped from Tragan. His lover has with the babies when she found out that they were going to get sacrificed. So she's escaped with her children because she's found out that he's going to sacrifice them for the magic or something.
Okay, was
And,
their relationship like a consensual relationship? Were they like a couple? They're going out on dates and he knocks her up, or was this a little underhanded pregnancy?
I kind of wonder if wizards ever have consensual relationships.
Yeah, right.
Because he's probably used the hypnotism on her.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, Merlin's a dirty fucker.
That's what I think.
You think so?
I didn't think that it was consensual. I think she woke up from drinking that green shit and was like,
Mhm.
"Uh-oh."
What the hell happened? I got a big tummy.
No,
Plus,
I
there's
think
plenty of mind control to go around later, so I'm sure he's mind controlled her into this.
All right.
yeah.
Well, these guys who can't see shit, they ride up, they stab this old lady, the wet nurse, and steal the baby, but there's two babies. They were only thinking that they were going to get one baby, but
Yeah.
two for the price of one. But the problem is they don't know which baby to sacrifice because they got to sacrifice the firstborn only.
And he then is like, tell me which one it is. And she's like, she should honestly be like, fuck, I don't know.
Dude,
Yeah, because she doesn't know.
I don't even know which
Like,
one's which
I
right now.
can't tell which one's which.
Uh,
We shuffled the babies on accident. It sucks.
the firstborn is always to my right. What the fuck do you think? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not like they had magic markers back then and they could have been like one on its heel as it came out.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I was squirting babies out. I wasn't really paying attention to the order of them, you fucking asshole. Who do you think I am?
Would have been cool, though, if there would have been like 4.
4 babies?
Yeah.
That's
Or at least 3, so we could get a game of 3 baby Monty going.
right. Well, you
Which
got to have
one's the one?
Playboy, centerfolds to do it, and I think they only got up to 3 that one time, right?
Yeah, I don't think that there's ever been quadruplets in Playboy.
That are hot, yeah. There's probably some hot quadruplets someplace, but never made it into Playboy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's too bad.
Oh, I think 4's too many. Like, you can only handle so much, right? I mean, 8 boobs is ridiculous. Like, that's too many. I don't have the time for this shit.
Yeah.
Well, imagine trying to get all 8 boobs in the shot
Right.
and still get a good picture of them.
Yeah, you just have to smash boobs all over the place and be like, yeah, this is stupid. All right, one of you guys hop out. Cindy, hop out. You're done.
Somewhere right now, Jim Wynorski has stood up and realized that there is a challenge yet left.
Yeah, the gauntlet has been thrown. Jim, find us some quadruplets. So Trajan's like, you stupid butthole. How do you not keep track of which one's which? Give her the Talon.
Yeah, so I guess if you they have punishment birth control, because this isn't like killing her, it's just making her barren.
I think it's gonna
But
kill her.
Seriously,
I don't
like
think you're coming back from the
a
Talon
griffin. It's like a griffin claw on a handle.
with knives.
Yeah, it doesn't make any like that sucks.
Yeah, all you can, I mean,
And who the fuck is carrying this thing around? Like, you know what? Today we're gonna make some people barren.
I'm official Talon handler.
Yeah. Like, who the fuck thought that one up?
I've made it, family. Dad, you won't believe the promotion I've got. I used to be the cup pourer, the wine pourer guy, but now I'm the Talon man.
Yeah, does it come with a raise? It does. It's now my new salary is probably not getting killed for a whole week.
Right? Damn, that's good.
I knew you were special, son.
Your sister's a Talon bearer, and she can only make it half a week without probably getting killed. The inequality! Because they're paid less.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, stupid. But, like, it doesn't work. I mean, the Talon is like the 3 seashells. We don't see how it works. We're just told that it makes them barren. But it just seems to me like all you're doing is taking knives and stabbing somebody in the tummy with them. Because you can't, like, go... It's not a surgical scalpel, exactly.
No, and you see the person running it, and they're just scraping, right? It's like they're raking. It's like a claw rake, and they're raking her belly. And she's like, it's stupid, but honestly, it hurts like a son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And let's be realistic. That thing is way too big just to be getting the ovaries,
Right,
okay?
right.
It's punctured an intestine, and now she's shitting inside of herself.
Yeah.
She's gonna die.
She's gonna die.
A septum.
Yeah, just fucking shoot her with an arrow. Now you can't have kids anymore. Yeah, because you shot me with an arrow. Much more effective than the claw that will take me 5 hours to bleed to death from. Fucking inhumane bastard. But during her, ow, she calls to Krona. And Krona appears. And Krona is like, he looks like Moses, but he's got moves like Conan. He's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, but he's also a fucking airport Hare Krishna.
Right?
Like, that isn't at all different from what the airport Hare Krishnas wear. This guy's just an airport Hare Krishna that they found and brought in.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's wearing.
Who is badass.
And then he's apparently a martial artist.
Yeah. He starts slaying fools with his sword. Not even like, nobody even gets a lick on him. He's just beating the shit out of guys, murderating everybody while looking like fucking somebody from the Bible.
Or somebody from the airport.
Or somebody from the airport.
I'm going with Sam Airport.
Okay.
But, you know, he sure did take his sweet-ass time to get there because she'd been screaming his name for a while before they started raking her.
About time, Krona!
Yeah, and, like, what was he doing? Taking a shit? And he had to, like, pull back up his pants, and he's like, oh, God damn it, not again.
Someone is calling Krona while pooping. Damn it. Timing.
I'll tell you what he was doing. He was bothering people at the airport.
I hear the call of Krona, But hold on. Let me tell you about this
Let me
pamphlet I've got first.
I'm going to give you this tiny book. Just take it. I got to go take care of a thing, but I need you to take this tiny book before I go.
Yeah, we'll talk when we get back. So the mom stabs Trajan, and he dies very slowly. He's shoving it to Ben Kingsley, that's for sure. But then he starts glowing and just vanishes. He's like, "This is my first death. I'll fucking be back, Krona." And Krona's like, "Dude, I thought this was like your 10th. Might want to think about that a little, because if you got so many lives, this may be like the last one." Trajan's like, "Yep, I'm good. Bye."
It was a little weird.
So I guess both of it's never established how Trajan has 9 lives or what his lives are and how
3.
he does. He's got 3 total?
He's got 3 lives according to the other guy. The Kerry Krishna is like, which one of your 3 lives is this, the first or the last? And then at the end of the scene, he's like, right before he turns into really bad visual effects, he looks up and goes, "It's my first."
Right.
That was a
So
pretty
we
good
got
impression.
there was probably due for a sequel.
So how does Krona know anything about this guy's 3 lives, and where did he get these 3 lives? Does Krona also have 3 lives, or are these guys like the old gods or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
It's like when you go to wizard school, you get a little stamp on your hand. And it's like a free pass, so that when you die, you hold your hand underneath the black light, and they're like, "Oh, okay, You got 2 more to go."
Send him back. Jesus. All right.
But it takes him like 10 years, 20 years to come back.
I don't know.
We're hoping about 20 years, otherwise the toplessness is worse, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But Krona gives the babies to this family, and hey, you take care of these kids. I got to go someplace. Like, why don't you fucking take care of them, Krona, you lazy piece of shit?
He's got shit to do at the airport.
Right?
I will train them to be warriors and barbarians or something. And then he takes him to this guy, and he just bros out with this guy.
Yeah.
Like, they do the bro shake.
Yeah, this is
They
totally
look like
his bro's
surfers.
house.
And they're like, "All right, brosifer. See you later, Brusseiden."
Well, but he blesses the kids with, like Sam was saying,
Bad special effects.
yeah, with the blue special effects to be 2 as
Yeah.
1, and that seems to just to be a theme that they just keep hammering into your face.
Yeah.
Which is funny, too, because when anyone sees them, they're like, "Oh, the ones that are as 1, they're just talking about him being twins." So his magic doesn't do anything here because they're already fucking twins.
Right. Good job, Krona.
Yep.
And
he
I
doesn't
like
do anything. How do they learn to become fucking warriors? Because he says when he comes back later, like, "Sorry, it's been so long." Like, well, how the fuck? So his, like, dude bro is also a martial artist, and he taught him, I guess?
No, it's the glowing bullshit. He transferred his knowing
His
into them.
karate?
Yeah, his karate.
He put his karate out with the blue juice?
Right.
I want to know. I also thought that he had given them magic powers.
We'll get to that, because
Yeah.
let's take care of some business first. I like that he drops them off at this guy's house because A, they're bros, and B, because the dude's wife has got huge milk jugs. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? She's putting out a lot of milk right now. I'll take him over there. I've been checking out those huge mom boobs now.
Sure. He knows, he's a man who knows things, right? But his bro's like, "No, I'll take care of these babies, bro, but you were totally putting a downer on my ABR."
Right.
What's an ABR?
Adult breastfeeding relationship, which would be the only reason this woman has huge milk jugs.
No, they have a daughter.
They have a daughter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who's hopefully old enough, or not old enough, because I don't see her ever.
Yes,
You
you
never
do.
see her.
You
Really?
do.
She's in the shot.
Well, no, we'll get to
All
that.
right.
Okay. You ignorant bastards. So elsewhere at the temple, and it seems to be at the same time, like there's no fade out or pan to the fire or anything to lead us to believe that any time has passed. A priestess has brought Trajan back.
This is the crappiest ceremony I've ever seen. They hit the gong and everybody gets together, and then she's like, let it begin. And then she hits the gong again. It's not like they chant or there's any kind of sacrifice. The guy just fucking shows up.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
It's me.
It's also one of the most cavalier forward cuts I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because usually if you're just going to do a forward cut for 20 years, you have to have something on screen in that next shot that gives the viewer some relationship to the last shot. So like, oh, I see them now and they're old. They've grown. This is just like a forward cut to some guys that are unrelated. And then you have to put it together after about 5 shots that it's been 20 years.
I don't know if it's been 20 years, guys, because at the end of when Trajan comes back, again, the last place we're at is at the peasant's house getting the kids dropped off to Huge Boobs Lady. There's no fade out. And then we go to Trajan's ceremony, and at the end of his ceremony is a fade out. So time has then passed after Trajan is returned, cut to young, nubile, hot ladies that are twins taking a naked bath.
Yeah.
Implying to me that Trajan's actually just been fucking sitting around doing nothing for 20 years.
Maybe it could have been like Maleficent. He just couldn't find him.
Maybe.
I said there was something about like when the light's on the Dragonstone or something, then he gets to come back.
Right.
And that happened, I guess.
Yeah. Dude, seriously, Jack Hill, we don't know what time it is. You got to give us years later or fucking anything. But you gave us nothing. They're babies, then they're hot ladies.
Yeah. Well,
What?
it could be the editor, not just Jack Hill, too.
Yeah, but
There was apparently some significant re-editing that Corman ordered on this picture.
sure. Oh, man. So yeah, we 20 years later, they're naked and swimming and playing, and Mr. Tumnus finds them, and he is just perving on them.
Yeah, you really wonder, the first time you see this, you have a very real fear that Pando's gonna jack off on screen.
Doesn't he?
It seems like he might be doing it the whole time he's on screen.
He might.
Every time.
Pando is awful. I mean, he is. I'm talking about that line and crossing it. Pando is not good.
Pando's bad. So they talk about Pando's wiener,
Yeah,
and
they're
then they
confused by his
go up
dong.
there, and then they shake their tits at him, and then kick the shit out of him.
They're like, what's that thing between his legs? It's a weapon. Punch him in the face. Because they've never, I don't know why this matters, but their foster parents never told them about penises and vaginas. Never.
And they didn't ever go anywhere ever.
Ever.
They also think that they're boys.
And they also think that they're boys with fairly large breasts.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they think they're boys with their long hair and their skirts? They're wearing fur dresses like any boys would wear.
Maybe we're being generous with the 20 years. Maybe because everything else is so questionable morally in this movie. It's only been about 13 years.
Oh, that's bad.
It is bad. But dude, everything else is so fucking about this movie that maybe.
I think that there's something in here dialogue-wise about their 18th birthday.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah.
They're a little too naive for 18 though.
They're dumb as shit.
You kind of figure stuff out, you know. You don't necessarily need to be told about the birds and the bees to, we've seen Top Secret. You get stuck on an island with a hot lady, things are going to happen.
Well, they're the only people there. So as long as Dad keeps his wiener away from him.
Yeah, but you can hump a tree or something.
But didn't they there was a daughter too, so it's
Right.
she's a girl but they're boys?
Right? It doesn't
jive.
make any fucking sense.
Also, they're not dressed like boys. There's just no point where if these are disguises to make them look like boys, epic fail.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, back at their village, it's getting raided by Trajan's men. They, their house. They finally track down the house. I guess enough time has passed where it's like, oh, this is the last house we haven't burned down, so let's go there. And they kill the mom and the dad, and they rape the daughter. That's who's getting raped. Sam is their sister, foster sister.
Foster said that they don't realize this is a different. They are the same gender as that person.
Yep.
They're unaware of that.
Oh boy, not real sharp warriors of prophecy, these twins.
No, but that doesn't matter because they kick everybody's ass.
But they come running in slow motion and then churn blue like Krona's magic.
Yeah, it's
effect.
the karate.
And then they just karate everybody. So do they have some sort of magic powers? Because they glow blue.
Yeah, they've got magic warrior powers.
But it's not really magic. They're just good at karate.
Yeah, I guess they didn't have to learn it.
Okay.
They can just activate it by glowing blue for a second.
I know Kung Fu.
Either way, after this goes on for a while, then Balder shows up and doesn't help.
No, he's just like standing there like, pretty good show, ladies.
And he's like, oh, you two boys are the best fighters I've ever seen. And you're like, really? They're wearing dresses and their tits are flying around everywhere. Right. They are not boys.
Well, and why is he with Pan?
Pando?
Like, did Pando, like, after he got beat up, he, like, ran to go find the Dwarf King, and he was like, hey, I just got my ass kicked. Avenge
Symptomatically speaking, in this story of this film, at no point does Balder ever show interest in women. What is he doing with Pando, you ask?
Uh-oh.
Hey, as long as it's two consenting adult creatures.
Yes, Pando. Sit on my lap, Pando.
Yeah.
You've been a good boy. Horrible. So they're like, okay, cool. Well, we're burying these people now. So you can help if you want. Stick around. I don't really know what your deal is, Balder and Pando, but whatever. And then Krona shows up after the fucking funeral. They've had the pyre going for quite some time. It's like, hey, sorry, it took me a while to get over here. I fell asleep.
For 20 years.
For 20 years.
Didn't help anything. I'm going to give you a slim amount of information, and then I'm just going to fuck off and die.
Right. He transfers his powers to them again. I don't know what the
fuck
that's all about. You already did that. And then it's like, it's time for me to go, so I'm going to go walk over and stand in this fire and burn up. I guess I don't have 3 lives.
My job here is done, even though I slept through it.
Yeah, I don't even...
I forgot to go to work, but now I'm old, so I guess I'll just die now.
Right, but he does tell them one thing, that when all seems lost, to call the name Viton.
Yeah.
Okay.
As that turns out, that will be a major get-out-of-jail-free card later.
Very big jail. It's insane. So they all go to town. I don't know what their fucking plan is here now. They don't have a plan. They're just like, okay, let's go to town together.
No, they're out for revenge.
They are? When did they swear revenge?
Right then.
Okay.
Yeah, when Kronos shows up.
Huh.
Balder continues to remind everybody that they've sworn a vow of revenge, like that's a thing.
Right. This town is a dump. Like, it's a bad place. Like,
I've seen it in several other movies.
Yeah. Wow, man. Rough town.
Well, and somebody throws out a steaming pot of shit.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it is steaming. I'm not making that up. It's like, what did you eat? Why is your poop hot like that? Like, it's boiling poop.
You've never actually lived until you've shit right in a hot pot.
Okay. I guess not.
And then thrown it out of the window.
Yeah.
You're not paying attention to who's below you. Yep. That's how.
While barfing because steaming shit smells awful, I'm assuming. I'm assuming.
And some guy gets his fucking hands chopped off for stealing bread, and they're like, I've seen rougher places.
So is he.
Yeah,
He's really not that depressed about
No.
getting his hands cut off.
It's like he's holding a hot potato. He's like, oh. That's as much as he reacts for getting his hands lopped off.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then the dwarf guy was like, it'll be fine. He'll become a beggar. He'll probably make more money.
Yeah, it's better for him, actually. This is an
Yeah.
upgrade. What? This fucking town is nuts. Don't go there.
It's shittier than Bartertown.
Right? It's
And
way
that's
worse.
hard to do.
It's way worse than Bartertown. Oh man, this place is crazy. They end up in a brothel. Like, where should we find revenge? I don't know. Let's go to the brothel and find it and see if it's there.
Well, you boys probably need to get your dicks wet. Come
yeah,
on in.
Maybe that's
And
what
they're
Boulder's
like-
doing.
We're boys, and Pando's just jacking off furiously.
Ugh.
Step one. Let's take care of this, boys. And that's where we meet Alikir. Elric. He's a barbarian who is not very barbarian-esque. The guys next to him are much more barbarian-esque. This guy
Yeah.
seems more like of a scoundrel than a barbarian. But he's cheating at dice. He's got some weighted dice.
Well, he's escaped from the Blue Lagoon.
Yeah, right. This is his first stop post Blue Lagoon too.
Yeah.
We'll go to the brothel.
Where you play dice
Yeah, right.
at the brothel. Because there's a lot of things going on. Later on, there will be some screwing, but the lobby at the brothel is a strange place.
There's an acrobat there
Yeah,
that is doing the splits and being weird.
and ladies just kind of dance around.
Yeah.
I guess that's like, hey, check out this hot shit.
That's what I would do.
Okay, just dance rather than like sit at a table and be like, so you want to fuck?
No, you got to get them interested.
Okay, all right.
That's how you build a clientele. Then you don't have to sleep with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, right? Your schedule's always full.
Yeah, hey, that's
The same dudes, and then hopefully they start buying you like $1 million gifts, and then you can get arrested for tax evasion.
Yeah.
well. He causes a brawl to ensue because of his cheating at dice, and everybody gets involved. The ladies, the Balder, Pando's like, fuck it, let's fight. And everybody starts fucking shit up via hijinks. It's pretty fun. But eventually they run out the back of the house. They run out the back to Balder's house or somebody's house. I don't know. But some dude's like to the soldiers that come up afterwards and is like, yeah, it was crazy. There's these twins. They were like 2 as 1. And the soldiers are like, that's what we're looking for. Like, nobody fucking talks like that. You would just been like, yeah, these 2 hot chicks that look like each other, they fucked everybody up. Okay, well, we're not looking for 2 hot chicks. We're looking for 2 who are as 1. Oh, they were like that.
Yeah. They were boys. I could tell. I saw their vaginas.
Yeah.
Because they're not wearing panties and their tits were flying everywhere.
Yep. There's two boys who were as 1 gave me erections. Yep. So these soldiers are out on the lookout for him. How the I don't know why I can't get this guy's name right. Elric.
Elric.
Erlich. No, I'm gonna call him Erlich.
Erlic's good, yeah.
Him and Balder, they see the boobs and they're like, okay, you guys are not boys. Just so you know, you are 2 hot chicks. You guys wanna learn about things right now? Oh, we don't have time. Damn. Okay. Well, this would have been a great opportunity.
Well, he's got to go get a sword out of Hawk
Right.
because he's a piece of shit.
He hawked his sword to go cheat at dice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not
What
a
was
great
he
move.
doing before this?
Just general barbarian stuff.
Yeah.
And then, he's like, hey, could you polish my sword? Mm-hmm.
Pando's going to do that for him later.
Yeah. Like,
The ladies have been ambushed by the soldiers, but Pando sees it and he's like, "Oh shit!" So he runs and grabs the guys that are getting their swords polished, and the priest arrives, and she's like, "We must do the test to see which one is the firstborn," and the test is, I guess, sticking just a random person's face in a thing of hot coals, and if their face doesn't burn off, they're the firstborn.
Yeah, that seems like a bad test.
What happens if you're not the firstborn?
Then your face gets burnt.
That
And then the other
sucks.
one is the firstborn. They don't care about you anyway, so.
Can you do this with all twins or just the two who are one?
I'm thinking just the two who are one, but this prophecy is a little fuzzy.
Okay.
It does seem like, though, it would start a trend throughout the village with little kids. Like, if you're the firstborn, stick your face in that coal.
Yeah, do it. Want to see a magic trick?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
This
Let's
started.
play firstborn. How do we play that? I don't know. I'm going to stick your head in the fire and you're not going to like it.
Right? When did this test get made? Like, what the fuck?
I think just then.
Right. Oh, yeah, you're it. Okay, sure. So they give her a new collar, and it's like an iron collar that to mark her as the firstborn. I don't know what the fuck is happening here, but the dudes ride up and they rescue them, and they are killing people, and they get out and they ride away into the forbidden forest.
No, they all escape into the forest, and that's when the priestess gets who knew to the monkey man.
Bobo.
His name is Who Knew.
Okay, he looks like
But
Bobo
she
from
promises him
Kevin Murphy's character in Mystery Science Theater 3000.
if he goes and finds him, he can have the second twin for himself.
Right?
So he likes women, I guess. Who knew?
Mm-hmm.
Another
Who knew?
bestiality.
Yep.
More bestiality.
Yep, some of that.
So they show up, and he's got an army of apes
Yep, he sure does.
with laughing gas mangoes.
Yep. That explode. Exploding laughing gas mangoes.
Yeah.
Mango grenades filled with laughing gas. Where do you get those? So
Who knows?
Yeah, right. So we should probably deal with their names. It's Mira and Mara. And Mara is the firstborn. She gets nabbed, and so does Erlich. And they're taken to Trajan. Or Tragon.
Yeah. We should definitely call him Erlich as well, because Elric being a fine pedigreed name in fantasy, he shouldn't be allowed to have that name.
No, he's just Erlich.
Well, and up to this point, you're like, why the fuck are they taking him?
Yeah, why are they taking him?
Like, they never talk about it.
We got him.
They just take him.
Yeah, we got him. Might as well take him. I mean,
I guess they know that their boss likes hot dickings.
Yeah, right.
They look at Balder and are like, no, that guy's not interested. This dickhead over here, though, he can provide a few.
He'll do. So Tragan is like, hey, so it turns out I'm your dad. I'm really old, but I don't look really old because of magic. And I want you to hang out and enjoy your time here, and really live it up. You just yell if you need anything. And she's like, well, I don't want Erlich getting hurt. And he's like, yeah, we'll make sure he gets what he deserves.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, that doesn't sound sinister. Bye.
Then shit gets fucking weird. Like, worse than Pan. Like, why? Why is this scene in here?
What scene?
The spike up your butthole.
The spike and the pole, greased pole.
Yeah, like,
I don't think Jackie knew what impalement was.
I thought that they were going to stick him with a sword.
Like, what did you think Vlad the Impaler was doing?
Just sticking bodies on sticks?
Nope.
How do they get to stand up right so well?
Yeah, no, this is impalement. This is what it was. You get the thing shoved up your butt, and the force of gravity pushes you down further and further. So it is a very long, very slow, and obviously very painful death. It's pretty much the worst. Like, crucify me. I'll take crucifixion, which is pretty nasty, rather than impalement. I can't think of a worse way to go than impalement. Like Ramsay Snow, you know, like being
flayed would suck.
you know, but impalement sucks pretty hard.
It just seemed like a dangerous movie stunt.
Oh yeah, no, this, and again, this is another very Wynorski-esque scene right here.
Yeah,
where
this seems like it was Wynorski, but apparently it wasn't.
Right. It's very weird, but no, this is a great sequence here. Like, it's fucked up, but kind of fun at the same time.
And there's like 3 or 4 shots beyond wanting to look at that guy's hairy ass one more time. And they go like 4 shots past that.
Yep.
But Bobo finds his amulet. He's like, hey, look at this thing. And it makes him one of the ancients. He's got the blood of the ancients in him, so we can use him. Get him off of that impaling device that we've got.
Yeah, I guess.
He's like, whew, close call. That was a sticky situation.
But he was slick about it.
Yeah.
Well, he said in there, because this is why I thought it was Wynorski. He was like, don't stick it to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's totally a Wynorski joke. What the fuck?
Yeah, I see your point. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So then we find out that Mira can see through Mara's eyes because they've got twin powers. They are 2 who are as one. And so she knows that she's at the temple. She's like, Balder, she's at a fucking temple. Let's get over there and get that revengeance that we've been so motivated about. Meanwhile, Mara's getting lectured, and Ehrlich is getting massaged.
Once again, his hairy ass on display, but now it has oil on it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
To really make those hairs glisten.
Yeah. Here's your soma as well, buddy. This is our nectar of the gods. Have some soma, which is their green glowing drink that turns you into a thrall of theirs. But it's soma, which is an actual drug.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's awesome.
Soma, that's the one that was, it's like 2 Oxycontins at once.
Yeah.
So they call it the Soma coma.
Yeah. It'll fuck you up real good. I'm taking it. I took it when I got my tonsils, or my tonsils, my wisdom teeth pulled out. I was like, this shit's amazing. It's like, it's almost morphine at home. Morphine, home version.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, I'm wondering, again, soma. That seems also something that Wynorski would do. Slip that in there. But
I don't know if they had synthetic back then, so maybe that wasn't a thing.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Either way, the priestess tells him about that Mara's going to be sacrificed, and he's like, okay, so I have to bone her, and then I'm going to kill her? Okay. I'll go, like you think that she's telling him to go do something about it, like, you must save her, but he leaves to go over there, and then Tragan comes out, and she's like, yes, all part of your plan, master. Why was she telling him this?
And to get back to where we're about to head, when they were talking before, they're like, well, he's got the blood of the ancient, so he can seed her. And it's like, well, if you're gonna kill her, don't you have to wait a while if that's your plan?
Right? And if you didn't even talk about this guy before, what were you going to do without a guy with this blood of the ancients? You were just going to kill her. Okay.
Just going to do whatever, which we'll be able to touch upon this base again later when we get to that part, because apparently you can get pretty loose with these ritual rules.
Yeah. Yep.
Still have stuff happen.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, so he goes over to Mara's, and they finally figured out where penises and vaginas, how they link up, and which then gives Mira a telepathic twin orgasm in front of Balder and Pando.
This is the worst idea in the movie, is to steal this scene exactly from Corsican Brothers and think it's going to fucking work twice.
Right.
Yeah.
And
instead, it's going to work worse, and now you've added a masturbating goat boy.
Yep. And who wants to fuck her? Like, she's getting hot, and I'm not gonna lie, dude. This chicken, she can put on a fake show better than to Meg Ryan in a restaurant. That's for damn
sure. No, she's doing a fine job.
She's doing a real good job here.
I'd have the same problems that Pando's having here.
But Pando is like, I'm getting on her. I'm getting on her right now. And Balder's like, you shall not do that. And Pando's like, I'm going to rape the fucking shit out of this lady because I am a horny goat boy.
I am a horny goat boy, and this is not going to do. So then
Send
he
it
has
right
to go
to the
out
mainstream, Jack.
Yeah.
Bring the kids.
And later we'll find out that Pando's a real cat as well, because he's just got like wooden broads, like woodland broads abound.
Oh, it's so
because like on his free time, apparently he just bangs chicks.
And during this scene, Balder is like staring at her like, oh, that's Ehrlich doing that. Nope, that's Ehrlich doing it. 2 times? Yep, that's my man Ehrlich. Like,
what? How would you know that?
What are you doing right now, Balder?
Quit being so heterosexual, Balder.
That's Ehrlich. I know how he fucks. Okie dokie.
All right.
So the next day they find the temple, and they're going to go in at night. But now Trajan knows too, because Mara is seeing through Mira's eyes, and it's like, oh, they're right outside, master. And he's like, okay, well, we're going to set the trap. And immediately when they storm the castle, Balder gets arrowed in the arm. They're like, fuck, this is going poorly. And Trajan walks up and uses force lightning to fucking make them get swallowed up by the earth.
He uses force smoke to get them to back up.
Right.
And then he makes some other magic bullshit and they fall in a hole.
Yeah, you want to see what we're doing? Well, go down where my army's at. Blah, and they're under the ground.
And the arrow that hits Balder doesn't work in physics. The way that they shot this, like where the arrow is supposed to come from is in front of him and it sticks in the back of his arm.
Maybe there was a third arrow guy on the grassy knoll.
There probably was. A third archer on the grassy knoll.
Uh-huh.
It was probably Pando getting back at him for not letting him fuck that chick that was having a seizure.
Well, speaking of fucking animals that are getting pissed about not fucking chicks, Bobo is now like, dude, the fuck? You just buried my girlfriend alive. I wanted some of that sweet poon. I'm a beast boy.
Yeah. So he turns sides. He switches sides at this point.
Yeah, right.
He takes up Balder's sword, and then rather than doing something useful with it, he brings it to Pando, who's already fucked off and doesn't care anymore because he's found 3 ladies in the woods, and he's banging the hell out of them.
They're just, like, he's laying in the woods, and he's just got prancing nymph ladies, like, dancing around him. Is he Pan?
Yes.
Like, not Pando.
He's supposed to
Is
be.
he literally Pan the god?
Yeah, he's Spanish Pan the god.
What the fuck are you doing here? Like, you got nothing better to do, Pan?
Should be interested in bigger things.
Right?
But apparently his dick does all of his thinking these days.
I guess Pan was kind of into partying too, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, him and Dionysus, the goddess of wine, they were pretty good friends. You just stand on one leg and play the flute like you're fucking Jethro Tull, the goat boy.
Yeah.
Okay,
So then Pando takes up Balder's sword.
Right.
And decides to unite the shepherds.
And the sheep.
This was so weird because he's just running through people's houses and fields, and he's like, "Meh, meh," and then all these sheep start following him. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then all the sheep herders are like, yeah, they've got their sticks and torches.
No, they've taken up arms.
Yeah.
They've become the singular greatest fighting force ever assembled. Sheep and men with digging tools.
All right, Pando. Great work, buddy. Glad you're here. Meanwhile, back at the temple, they're setting up for the ritual, and Trajan has brought out the sacrificial virgins. What are they here for?
What are they here for?
They literally are called sacrificial virgins. Like, your plan is to sacrifice these are they like the warm-up sacrifice? Like, we gotta, like you get the comedian that comes out on stage before the main headliner to warm up the crowd? Is that what are you not entertained by the sacrificing of virgins? What the fuck?
I'm not sure. It's starting to get really confusing as to how this prophecy works.
It's really, really loose and not very clear on how to do whatever
right
he's
now,
trying to do.
You're thinking, what is going on? This prophecy just doesn't make any sense. But then you realize later, when events unfold, that this is just a prophecy that has pretty wide open rules. That you can just kind of like toss whoever, wherever, and if they die, then some fucking shit'll happen.
Yeah, and I think the whole ritual is to make the army of the dead. I think I don't fucking know, because eventually he's like raising the army of the dead, which are down in the underground where Mira and Balder are at, and they start waking up like the fucking Draugr of Skyrim. They start waking up in their catacombs, and one of them eventually grabs Mira by the tits.
Oh yeah, and then tells her the secret.
Right.
Because it's supposed to be like she remembers, just say whatever I'm supposed to say. But what happens in the shot is that this guy comes up behind her, grabs both of her boobs, adjusts his hands to where he's just got them perfectly, and then it cuts to a close-up shot, and then it sounds like he's whispering it into her ear rather than her remembering it, is that he's just like, now that I have the power of your bosoms, I will remind you of the magic word.
Right, but don't say, give me just a minute here with these huge boobs.
Just give me a second. I've been dead for a while.
Yeah, right. We'll get to that as well. The makeup is pretty good here on these Draugr.
On some of them.
Some of
them are not good.
But for $500,000 in a movie that sucks this hard, they look pretty decent. I think they did an okay job.
I think all of it for 500,000 is okay, even the shitty visual effects.
Yeah, I guess for 500K, but
actually, no, not everything. Not everything.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to my favorite part
The
yet.
one thing is just inexcusable.
Yeah. So she remembers or gets told to call Vitan. And she's like, Vitan, hear me now. Come help, whatever you are, whoever you, I don't know. I was just told to call your name, if you're even a person or a god or whatever. And then Vitan shows up. Ew. And I'm going to cut off the podcast because there's just no way we can do this better. We can't describe how shitty Vitan is.
He is
There's
a lion
no way.
bat man with dinosaur legs.
But his skin is opening up like he has a skin skirt.
Right?
And the reason that is because it's a hand puppet.
Right, okay.
God.
And
Yeah,
this is Corman's idea was, we'll get hand puppets. And I guess they spazzed all of it on the one because they didn't have enough for a second one. So instead, after Vitan shows up and doesn't do anything ever,
he wakes
mind
up.
you.
He wakes up Mira and Erlich, like gets them out of the gas.
magic.
Yeah, the magic duping stuff. And so they start fighting everybody.
But then he just sort of floats around and looks terrible.
He just floats around and looks terrible. Like, why am I here? And then Trajan is like, or Tragon is like, hey, I still need a virgin to sacrifice. Die, my priestess lady. Stabs her, chucks her in the pit, and then calls Caligar.
Which is apparently only going to happen if he was doing it the one way. So this is when we're like, oh, I guess you can just chuck anybody in, but he was being more sinister just for good measure.
Just for, like, sacrificial virgins. He's got those. He's got the firstborn twin of the two or one. He's got a priestess. I mean, he's rounding all his bases, but this fucking goddamn ritual is stupid. Who made up this ritual?
I don't
Not to
know.
mention that everybody who has epilepsy has now gone into a seizure because of the green strobe light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice effects. And so fucking Caligar shows up, and she's just an omnipotent floating head
It's like just some lady's head
with some schmutz on it.
with some shit on it. And
Hey,
she's like
Got some
moderately
shit on your face.
And she's moderately ill-tempered.
Yeah, and she's got lightsaber breath because that's what she does. Is she opens her mouth, green missiles come out to the sound effect of a lightsaber sheathing and explode the ground.
Yep, so that the zombies can get out.
Yeah, yep. So then that's how Balder and Mira get out too. Is through
And
her-
now it's time for the greatest fight in all of fantasy storytelling between a disembodied head of just some lady and a lion bat hand puppet that its movement is like, kill me now.
Yeah, right. I am the thing that should not be.
Yeah. And they just float around in front of each other because they
Giving
can't
each
do
other the
anything
stink
else.
eye.
Yeah, they stink eye for a while. Actually, the lion thing can't even give a stink eye because his eyes are solid. So he's just like, I don't know what to do. And then she's like, I have to make dinner. I need to leave soon. Are we done shooting this? And that's the fight happening.
Meanwhile, down on the ground, the army of the dead has become completely useless because instead of taking over the earth, they have just gone straight for the sacrificial virgins and grabbed them. And Balder's like, they've been dead for a long time.
Yeah.
those corpses are gonna totally rape those ladies.
Yep. If you thought that just skirting bestiality for, an hour and a half was weird enough, no.
my God.
Now you've got zombie rape.
Yeah, reverse necrophiliac rape. Fucking god damn it. Mainstream movie.
Gonna make a mainstream picture.
Oh my god. Yeah, I was like, what happens if a wiener breaks off?
Right.
You're just like, hold on a second. You stick your fingers up there and grab it and pull it out.
Ew.
Next.
So right now, Anna Nicole Smith is watching this scene is like, whatever. Been there. The twins eventually are going to be like, hey, we can do that too. Get an old guy. Old dusty penis.
Yep.
He orgasms, it just goes.
You don't even have to bring him to orgasm. You just punch his nuts and then it spits out.
Okay. All right. So up in the sky, after very many stink eyes back and forth, Vuitton uses force powers out of his forehead to fucking blow up Caligar.
It's like the Death Star. It sucks so bad. The first time you see this scene, it's like the movie, you were already sold. You're like, oh, this is a real winner for a stinker. But then this shit happens and your jaw is on the floor for about 10 minutes because you're like, no fucking way did somebody do this and think that it was going to fucking pass.
And then, so Vuitton has defeated the whole thing, the whole reason why this ritual happened. But he's like, I'm not done here. I'm going to force lightning this gate open so that the sheep people can join the party. Because they were outside this whole time just
Can
waiting.
invade the rest of the way. And they do. The shepherds invade. And once they're about 3/4 of the way through the yard after the gate, most of them are out of gas and they're ready to sit down.
Right? I mean, things are pretty wrapped up already, so we're good. But come on in, sheep people. What were you doing outside this whole time? Well, the gate was locked. Okay, oh boy. That's what we get for hiring goat herders to fucking come in.
Which is also like, hey, thanks for nothing, Bando.
Yeah, right. And thanks for nothing, Vuitton. Like, what the fuck, man? And Vuitton just goes, woo, 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 and disappears.
the magic of Vuitton. And when she first says it, like, you don't pay attention to when the Hare Krishna guy, before he walks into the fire, is like, say Vuitton. You don't really pay it much mind.
Uh-huh.
But when she does it, it's like, this isn't really part of the plot.
No.
This wasn't set up.
At all.
This is just like, magic, save me. And it does. It's like, Calgon, take me away.
Upstairs, Erlich is fighting this guy named Kraganon, who's Tragon's right-hand man. And it's pretty awesome. He chops his shield in half. He chops his sword in half. And then he chops his arm off. And Kraganon's like, ah!
And then just leaves.
It just leaves.
Which is funny, because earlier in the scene, he just had like an arm brace on that had nothing to do with anything.
No, the ladies shot him with an arrow in the back. And then he starts like, the thing is he's going into court to sue the ladies for shooting him in the back with an arrow. Yeah. So he's got the neck brace on.
He's got the neck brace, yeah, because later he's fine again, I guess.
Yeah, he's Harvey Weinstein with the walker. Yeah, sure. You're sure, Kraganon. Yeah, why are you wearing a sling? You got shot in the back with an arrow. Yeah. So Tragon turns Erlich's sword into a snake. He's like, it was all illusion. And he picks it up and he's about to kill Erlich, but the ladies arrow him and he's like, I'm down to my last death. Bye.
So he can't count.
I guess not.
Because that's 2.
Yeah, he should have one
Unless he came back before and then fucking tripped and fell down and died. And he's like, I'm going to give it a little bit more of a time period in between. Give it a little bit more of a break. Come back in 10 years. That second life didn't go very well.
That was a dumb one. I'll admit. That was me.
Yeah.
I did that.
It's the second life in Contra when you jump into the first bullet and you're like, well, I guess I'm just going to hit reset.
Yeah. And so Erlich, now he walks out. He's got both of them on both arms. And he's like, yep. And twins.
He's like, polygamy that's weirder than normal polygamy.
It's twins.
That's why it's weird. It's not weird for him. It's weird for them.
I don't know, man. It seems like, and twins? It's like, you're supposed to bang both of them. Like, America wants you to bang both of the twins, I think. At least Bud Light does.
Sure.
That Party All the Time guy, not Eddie Murphy, but that
Duffman?
Andrew YK, doesn't he have a song about banging twins?
I guess.
I just want to bang twins. Bang twins. And party all the time.
That's a pretty good song.
Okay. And they all laughed at credits.
Yeah, the real boat that Jack Hill missed that would have really got this back into the mainstream is at the end here, if he would have freeze framed on Pando jumping through the air while ejaculating.
Right. Which leads me to my first question. What about Bobo the monkey guy? What about his promise? He switched sides so he could get Mira, and now Erlich is like, nope, these are my twins. Get the fuck out of here, monkey guy. Is Bobo going to switch sides again and stab Erlich in the fucking face?
They're going to have to duel in single combat, I'm sure.
Oh, God, why do I have to fight a monkey? Jesus.
One who's probably got a lot of tricks. I've seen his exploding gas mangoes.
Right. Who wins? Probably Bobo.
Probably.
And so then what?
Then the girls are like, okay, this is not going to go our way. You have the backup carriage in the back, right? And then it's already loaded with shit, so they just fucking take off. They're like, no, I'm not having sex with that monkey guy.
No, the sequel is totally mainstream bestiality.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's for everybody, Jack. It's just a monkey guy pursuing a lady so that it can rape her. Okay. Yeah, good stuff. Who's got the next question?
I have a question. Who the fuck is Balder?
Right?
Like,
what?
Just Who the fuck are you, buddy?
You're just a wandering dwarf king? Like, he knows Ehrlich. Like, they go to
knows
town and they
everybody.
recognize, hey, buddy, you're here. They're friends. But that's it. That's all we get about Balder and what his deal is. He's just a wandering dwarf king.
Who's friends with Pando?
Who's friends with...
Or more than friends with Pando. You never really know what's going on with him and
horny
Pando.
satyr. Yeah. Maybe he's like a traveling bard. Like, he's just going and looking for tales to tell, you know?
That's a minstrel.
No, that's a bard.
That's a bard. But either way, he's this barbarian, so kind of. I guess he does fight some of the zombies at the end, but for the most part, he's completely useless throughout the whole movie.
Oh, he fights him at the brothel. He fought a bunch of people, too.
Oh, that's okay.
And
But-
here he fights some zombies.
Yeah,
So
he sucks.
He sucks. He does suck. That is for sure. Jackie, you got a question?
I burned all mine in the episode.
Okay. I got probably the biggest one we could think of. Who the fuck is the sorceress?
So I think that sorceress with two S's implies that it's plural.
Wouldn't it be
So this
sorcerai?
movie, it might be called Sorceress.
No, the plural of sorceress is sorceresses. I know that for a fact.
Okay.
Trust me, guys. I know what I'm talking about.
So
I've
who are
also
the-
seen Goat Boy go to town on a Playboy model.
Yeah, I have. I have seen that. Yeah, so it's just one sorceress, and it's not the twins because they are not either of them are not sorceresses.
The only person that's close to a sorceress is the priestess that gets tossed in a fire.
But she doesn't really do any magic. She just has
Nope.
she just has green glowing fucking Romulan ale.
There are no sorceresses in this movie.
There's not a goddamn one. Krona could be a wizard.
He's a Hare Krishna, and
Right?
then I'm going to go ahead and give the bad guy a hall pass that he's a sorcerer,
He's
I
not.
guess.
He's a necromancer.
Oh, fuck then. I don't even know.
Nobody is a sorcerer or a sorceress. It's the worst title for a movie ever.
Yeah.
But it made $4 million.
$4 million. Not because of the title, but because it had 4 matching boobies, Jackie. One,
My last question is, did you recognize the music?
No, but the music is fucking great.
Well, it's because it's the music from Battle Beyond the Stars that James Horner did.
Gotcha. Yeah. I
They
did sound
just-
familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever things got into that state, during this period especially, Corman would just be like, throw that back on.
Yeah, I like that shit. Go ahead and use that again. And it works here. It's fun. Every time they're running. It's good stuff. Here we go. Final recommendations. I'll start. On second viewing, I'm going to go ahead and say this. This movie jumped into the Hall of Fame for me. This is top 10 for me best bad movies of all time. That's how good this shit is. Top 10. So, yeah, it's a do from me. I fucking love it. And I don't think you can ask for anything else in a bad movie and expect to get it. Like, this shit is over the fucking top. Jackie.
I'm also going to give it a mega do. It was fun. You did question it a lot. You're like, what the fuck has happened? Oh, okay. Nope, that doesn't seem right. And then you're like, you know what? It's a movie. I'm going to go with it.
Yeah.
And see where it takes me. Raping zombies. It's just weird. And I loved it.
Yeah,
I fucking loved it.
I loved it. Sam.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that even without the ending would flirt with Hall of Fame because it's got so much going on, but then the end happens and you're like, what the fuck?
Jesus.
This is insane.
It's insane.
It's the worst job anybody's ever done with visual effects. And it wasn't that they were incompetent. It was competently done. Worst ideas ever.
Right. Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then the voice acting is so bad. Everybody is so wooden and just
Office people.
terrible. Office people. Yeah, whoever did the voice for Craganon is just shockingly bad. And then the mom at the beginning is fucking terrible. It's beautiful. It is a beautiful disaster. Like, you can't fuck up a movie more than this one.
Yeah.
And have it still be, yeah.
I'm thinking that because of the way that the ADR was done, that both of the sisters have the same office lady doing their voice, and you can tell that she's like actually trying to talk to herself sometimes. When you're watching it. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's a must-do. I love it. I wish every bad movie that we watched was just Sorceress. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have a hard time next week when we're not watching this. It's gonna, every movie moving forward is going to seem just pale in comparison to. So, love it. Join us on our next Coronasode on Thursday. We will have that out, and then next week is Jackie's movie. Do you have something lined up?
I do.
Okay,
I've had it lined up since last week.
Oh boy.
It is called Graduation Day.
No,
it is on the Netflix.
It's gonna be disappointing next to Sorceress.
It's it kind of reminds me. I only saw a little bit of it before I was like, oh, this is an episode. It's a slasher movie.
Yeah, Sam's gonna hate it. Sam's gonna real hate it. A slasher with a theme. So, all right, check that out. It's on Netflix. Enjoy your week, guys. Get to the chopper.
Fans of Stinker Madness, iTunes thinks you don't like us. What? How is that possible? Well, it's because you haven't given us a review yet. Go to Stinker Madness on iTunes and take just a couple seconds to rate and review us there. While you're at it, hit up Stitcher.com as well. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter @/Stinker Madness and email us at talk@stinkermadness.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening and get to the chopper.